If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, as well as follow me and subscribe to me on all my other social media platforms. What's up, Thrashers, and welcome back once again to the Thrash Maniac 99 YouTube channel, and I am back with another album review for you guys, and this time, another first for me as far as a band that I'm checking out, and I am checking out the latest offering from British progressive metal masters Threshold, Dividing Lines. So yeah, this came out on Nuclear Blast Records on November 18th, and yeah, like I said, this is the first time I've ever checked this band out. I've always heard the name when it comes down to the progressive metal world, and I just never really gave them a listen. But once I saw that they had a new album coming, I was like, you know what? I'm going to check these guys out and see what they're all about. And also going through their Metal Archives page, I saw they were compared to bands, most particularly Dream Theater, Symphony X, Star One, Leprous, Fate's Warning, like the real classic, or even some of the great modern progressive metal bands. So I was like, you know, this might be something up my alley. And we get to this album, Dividing Lines. So, of course, when reading through, you know, lyrical themes when it comes down to Threshold's music, yeah, it definitely follows along the lines of like life, society, and political corruption, and kind of those lyrical themes. And that is felt very prevalent, or not prevalent, but very prevalent on this album. Like, lyrically, it talks all about, you know, war and political struggles, human psyche stuff, which are very interesting whenever you read along to the lyrics while listening to it. Now, the production, on the other hand, was... Now, some people might be a bit turned off by the production upon first glance because it is so, like, it's a huge production. Like, everything's very modernized, very clean. So some people might be turned off by the production of the album, but I feel like people should give that a pass when it comes to progressive metal bands, because after all, progressive bands definitely want to have their music sound as good as possible and really help to make every instrument, vocal pattern, drum beat very audible and even kiltered on top of each other. So when it comes down to like the very clean, sterile production, prog metal, I feel, gets a free pass because that's what they're trying to aim for, is that more clean, bombastic, and make sure everything is audible. And for the most part, every instrument is audible on this album. Now, as far as the performance of those instruments, like, of course, the guitar work on this album, you get some damn good riffs on this album that kind of don't really feel proggy, but more like classic old-school metal. Like, there's some moments that remind me of, say, Judas Priest, or even, like, Saxon, like, and even, like, the early progressive metal or power metal bands, like Queensryche. There's even a little bit of, like, Symphony X riffing going on here. Like, there's all sorts of influences coming through when it comes down to the riff work. The lead work, on the other hand, I would say this is among some of the best lead work I've heard all year. Like, it's not all about how fast you can play or how technical your solos are in prog metal. Like, here, these leads have more atmosphere, melody, and feeling to them. And there's even a lot of times on this album where you get some harmonized leads between the two guitarists. Well, actually one guitar, but they doubled it to make it sound like harmonized guitars. And then the keyboards. Now, of course, the keyboards, I still don't understand why keyboards are so divisive among metalheads. I love keyboards because it's just another instrument being added. And in this case, the keyboards were really well done and very much complemented the music perfectly, in my opinion. And even moments where on a couple of tracks, like, I would say best examples would be in tracks like Complex, where you get keyboard solos on top of the guitar solo, so they're all just kind of playing along, and it sounds incredible. And then, of course, the drumming, it's very much mostly meat and potatoes, but you do get some like time changes within the drum beats. But other than that, they're very much meat and potatoes, and it's a good kind of meat and potatoes. Vocally, the vocalist Glenn Morgan definitely has a bit more of like a grittier, raspier vocal delivery compared to a lot of other progressive metal bands, and it's really cool to hear, and it doesn't sound like he's straining it at all, because the guy can fucking sing. Now, the songs themselves, like, for the most part, the average length of the songs would probably be about 5.5 to 6 minutes, so not too long when it comes down to a prog metal album, but there are two standout songs that I want to talk about. The Domino Effect and the closing track, Defense Condition. Domino Effect has this, like, more sinister atmosphere, and especially with the guitars being tuned down to E flat or maybe even B flat if they're playing 7-string guitars, but if it's 6 strings, then it sounds like it's at E flat to give it that evil, sinister sound to it, which is very weird to describe a progressive metal song as evil and sinister, but that's just how it is in the guitar tone on this track, and it just goes in all sorts of different directions. Like, it kind of like the first 3 to 4 minutes feels like a standard metal track. You know, verse, chorus, bridge. But then it transitions into a lot of different sections afterwards to make it feel like a proper prog metal track. And of course, more fantastic leads. And then with Defense Condition, kind of has more of like this... I don't know how to describe it. The song itself it's a great closing song for sure, and lyrically it's basically a song all about fights and battle on the battlefield and going through struggles as, can you quit honking your horns outside, people? But again, more changes going on and follows a nice groove. It even speeds up a little bit to like classic heavy metal up-tempo stuff. But what I really liked as far as this whole album, the choruses. The choruses are huge and impactful and thought-provoking. Like, I don't think there's really a dull chorus on this album whatsoever. So overall, as far as any complaints that I could have, maybe going back to what I was talking about with the production, maybe a bit too clean. Like, maybe they could have gotten away with kind of stripping it down just a little bit, make it a little bit more gritty, and I think it would have definitely enhanced the aggression and the heaviness that this album has on occasion and really enhanced those moments. But overall, songwriting-wise, pretty solid stuff, especially the 2 long tracks, because the long songs, when done right, are fantastic. But overall, not the best prog metal album for me, but it's still a pretty good one. I'm going to give this one an 8.5 out of 10. I do think this album may be just a tad better than the Candlemass album in terms of the best album of the week, but still, I don't see this being a top 50 contender, but definitely recommend you guys check it out. It's pretty good stuff for the most part. If you are a fan of clean-sounding progressive metal, definitely give it a listen. But of course, that's just my opinion. What did you guys think of Dividing Lines by Threshold? Let me know in the comments below. Only a few more albums I'm going to cover for this year before it's Album of the Year time. But until next time, horns high. See you guys later.
What the heck is fellatio?
Cole, out of all the people in here, you should know what that is.
Every time I'm soft, I'm supposed to try to dab a shine.
Is it a new way to torture people?
It's getting a little too friendly.
No! Well, it depends on how you look at it.
Wait, so fellatio is stimulation of the penis? Really?
Thanks for letting me do that. I might pick that part.
Cole. It's another name for a blowjob.
Okay. Every time
it's a deep throat blowjob.
Alright, here we go. Okay.
Moving on.
Sounds like Carson's getting one right now.
God damn.
This game has gone to hell.